Hey guys, welcome to this amazing game of Dead by Daylight, and today I want to give you my top 5 worst perks to run whenever you play as the killer. Now let me make it crystal clear that every perk in the game, whether it's perks for survivors or killers, all have a very specific function. They are useful in their own ways. However, these top 5 perks that I chose, I came up with the list based primarily on how effective they are towards helping you achieve your ultimate goal as a killer, which is to of course kill survivors. So in my humble opinion, these 5 perks are the least effective perks towards helping you find survivors, hitting them, hooking them, and eventually killing them. So without much further ado, let's jump right into the list. Number 5. Coming at number 5 is going to be play with your food, which is actually one of Michael Myers's teachable perks. Now the reason why this perk is on this list is because it encourages you as the killer to do the one thing that you're not supposed to do, which is to let your obsession escape. So basically the way the perk works is you find your obsession, you chase them, but you let them escape. You don't hit them, you let them escape. Now every time you find them and you let them escape, you gain 1 token, and you can gain a maximum of 3 tokens. Every token will give you a boost in speed of 5%, movement speed specifically of 5%. So the maximum percentage increase in speed you can get from play with your food is 15%. Again, only movement speed. Now every time you take an offensive action against your obsession, you lose 1 token. So basically the perk is all about you finding your obsession and then you let them escape, which sounds and feels kind of odd to me. I have tried using this perk several times before, but I have never gotten good results with it. Why would I spend time finding my obsession, chase them, and then only let them escape? It just doesn't make any sense. Given especially the fact that there are better obsession perks out there. You have really good obsession perks like Dying Light. This is a much better obsession perk than Play With Your Food. You have Remember Me, which is one of Freddy Krueger's teachable perks. These 2 perks are so much better than Play With Your Food. If you're looking for a perk that can give you boost in speed, why not try Fire Up instead? Fire Up is a perk that will give you a boost in speed in every single kind of action, not just movement like Play With Your Food, but you also get a boost in speed for breaking pallets, damaging generators, picking up survivors, hooking them. You basically get a boost in speed for every kind of action. Play With Your Food only gives you a movement speed, and also it requires that you do not hit your obsession. So in other words, this is not a really useful perk in my opinion, and again, I don't know why anyone would want to run this perk. Number 4. Coming at number 4 is going to be a perk that has a really badass name, and it's called Sloppy Butcher. Ooh, you're such a badass killer, I butchered the survivors. Basically, all what this perk does is that it increases the bleeding frequency of survivors. Again, it has that really badass feel towards it. Oh, you make survivors bleed badly. But in truth, it's a pretty useless perk. Your objective as a killer is not to make survivors bleed. Your objective as a killer is to kill survivors. Just because a survivor is bleeding doesn't mean they're actually going to die. And also, wouldn't you rather kill survivors by sacrificing them on hooks, making the entity pleased with you, giving you more points, rather than having them bleed to death on the ground? It just doesn't make any sense at all. Again, it sounds really badass. I mean, Sloppy Butcher, you increase the frequency at which survivors bleed, but at the end of the day, it's a pretty useless perk. Number 3. Next on this list is going to be Betta Murmur. This is a perk that I have tried to run and use many times before, and I have never found it useful. All that this perk does is once the exit gates have been powered, the auras of survivors will be revealed to you for 9 seconds. On tier 3, it's 9 seconds. After 9 seconds, you're not going to see the auras anymore. Now you might think to yourself, it's actually not that bad. I mean, you've been able to see the hours of survivors at the end of the game, kind of like, you know, lets you know where they are. You can go for like a last minute kill. The problem is that usually when the exit gates get powered, you already at that point, you're probably already chasing one survivor while the other survivors were able to get the last gen done. That happens most of the time. So when the exit gates get powered, you're usually chasing one survivor. You're not going to have time to start looking around for the hours of the other survivors, because you're going to be so focused on trying to hunt down this one survivor you have found and just killing them. So essentially, it just lasts for 9 seconds. After 9 seconds, it's gone. You're not going to see the hours of the survivors anymore. Now, if this perk had allowed you to see the hours of survivors infinitely after the gates have been powered, then it would have been a very powerful perk. But again, after 9 seconds, it's gone. It has no more use. You cannot see the hours of survivors again after 9 seconds. It's just a perk that's so situational, and it's also a perk that you can't use for long. Just 9 seconds and that's it. It's a pretty bad perk. Number 2. Now, when I thought about making this video about the 5 worst perks to run as a killer, there was one perk that immediately jumped at me. I didn't even have to think about it, it just came. That perk is Monstrous Shrine. Again, this is a perk that has a really badass name. Ooh, Monstrous Shrine. It sounds so frightening, it sounds so evil, it sounds so powerful. But this is a really foolish perk. Essentially, what this perk does is that whenever you hook a survivor, it makes them die 9% faster. Also, there's a 15% increased difficulty on escape attempts. And finally, there's a 9% increased penalty to escape fails. Now, all this sounds actually pretty good. The problem is, this perk only affects the hooks in the basement. So, in order for this perk to have any sort of meaning or usefulness, you have to hook the survivors in the basement. So essentially, you find a survivor, you spend time, you down them, you have to take them all the way to the basement. Now the chances are, when you find a survivor and you down them, they're probably not going to be anywhere close to the basement. So to use this perk, you will have to spend time carrying them all the way to the basement. To make things worse, in order to almost guarantee that you can actually carry the survivor from wherever you down them to the basement, you have to run 2 additional perks, which would be Agitation and Iron Grasp, both on tier 3. So essentially, to run this one Monster Shrine perk, you have to run Agitation and Iron Grasp together, just because you want to run Monster Shrine. This is a waste of precious perk slots. Typically, you don't want to run both Agitation and Iron Grasp. You typically want to run one or the other, not both at the same time. So running the Iron Grasp and Agitation just for the sole purpose of running Monster Shrine is a total waste. Now, if this perk had actually affected every single hook in the game on the map, this would have been a very powerful perk. But again, the fact that it only affects affects hooks in the basement just makes this perk a really, really bad perk. Don't ever run Monster Shrine. Please, just don't. Number 1. Coming at number 1 is the almighty Insidious. Yes, this is the one perk that encourages you to do the one thing, the absolute one thing that you're not supposed to do as a killer, which is to stand still. That's right, you stand in one spot, you don't do anything, just stand in one spot, and then this perk would actually come into use. Basically, as a killer, you're not supposed to stand still in one spot. You're supposed to hunt survivors, chase survivors, hit them, put them on the ground, pick them up, hook them. You're supposed to damage generators, you're supposed to break pallets. You are supposed to be active, relentless, you're supposed to be moving all the time. Insidious says, no! Just stand still! Like a statue, don't move. Just stay in one spot. Do nothing, just stand right there. Now, to be fair, Insidious does have one usefulness, which is you can actually use the perk to catch survivors off guard. Most of the time, survivors would expect that you have a terror radius. So when you stand in one spot, maybe close to a gen or close to a survivor who has been hooked, and you don't move, your terror radius becomes 0. Every other survivor out there would think that, oh, you're probably somewhere else, so they might come in for the save and then you catch them unawares. The problem is that once the survivors know that you're running Insidious, the game is up. you're probably never ever gonna catch them unawares anymore, because they know that you have Insidious. So they know that despite the fact that they can hear your terror radius, they know that you're probably around there somewhere. It gets worse. If you're playing against Survive with friends, all it takes is for one of the friends to discover that you are running Insidious, and all the rest of the survivors would know that you're running Insidious. Basically, Insidious relies on the element of surprise. Once that surprise is gone, it is gone forever. You're never ever going to catch survivors off guard anymore. Finally, the worst thing about Insidious is that by standing still, you're not going to get any points. It is easier for killers to get points during a match than it is for survivors. For survivors, it's pretty hard sometimes to get more than 10,000 points. For killers, if you have a decent game, getting 10,000 points should not be a problem. When you stand still, you gain no points. You gain points by, like I said earlier, you gain points by chasing survivors, hitting them, hooking them. That's how you gain points. When you stand still like a dummy, you're not gonna get any points. That is one of the worst things about running this particular perk. So, for what's worth, do not ever run Insidious. This is just a really shitty perk to run. So there it is, guys, my top 5 worst perks to run whenever you're playing as the killer, and I really want to know what you guys thought about this list. Are there perks that you feel should have made this list? Are there perks on this list that you feel should not have been on this list? I really want to know what you guys think, so please share your thoughts in the comment section below. I will read every single comment and I'll respond to the ones that I feel need some responding to. So be sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you're new to the channel. If this is your first video you ever seen of me and you like what you see, be sure to subscribe. I stream also Monday to Friday, usually around 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I play lots of Dead by Daylight. I also have lots of videos and guides on how to play Killer, how to play Survivor. Be sure to check them out. So until next time, all praise the entity, and I will see you in the fog.